Sophie Cunningham is out for the remainder of the season.
Sophie Cunningham is officially out for the rest of the season.
Not unexpected that Sophie Cunningham ruled out for the season.
WNBA basketball season, we've signed a 5'7" guard. This woman is 5'7", 36 years old, for crying out loud.
Sophie Cunningham, unfortunately, is out for the rest of the 2025 WNBA season.
2 minutes ago, the Fever shook the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham out, and a 36-year-old walks in.
Who is Shey Peddy? She's a 36-year-old 5'7" point guard.
Breaking news in the WNBA, Sophie Cunningham is out, and the Fever have shocked everyone with a 36-year-old signing.
Sophie Cunningham is officially out for the rest of the season with a torn MCL.
This woman is 5'7", 36 years old, for crying out loud.
I don't like this Sophie Cunningham announcement. For those who don't know what's going on, Sophie Cunningham is out for the remainder of the season after getting injured versus the Connecticut Sun when Bree Hartley basically dived into her leg.
I don't like this Sophie Cunningham announcement. For those who don't know what's going on, Sophie Cunningham is out for the remainder of the season after getting injured versus the Connecticut Sun when Bree Hartley basically dived into her leg.
Every single game against Connecticut has been physical, and this time it ended her season. This injury is a huge blow, and fans are upset with how it happened.
I didn't even realize every single game this season that the Fever have played Connecticut, there has basically been an injury.
Unfortunately, we have the horrific, terrible news that Sophie Cunningham is officially out for the rest of the season with a torn MCL. The Indiana Fever confirmed she will miss all remaining games after suffering the injury against Connecticut.
So now the Indiana Fever have officially come out and let it be known. This right here is by Underdog WNBA. It says Sophie Cunningham diagnosed with torn right MCL per Chloe Peterson. And this is awful news. This is just awful, awful news. Here it is from the Indiana Fever.
Sophie had been a heartbeat of the team and stood up for Caitlin Clark when others did not. Losing her leadership and energy is a massive setback.
Sophie Cunningham has been kind of like the heartbeat of this team with Caitlin Clark being out. She's like the first player we actually seen come out and stand up for Caitlin Clark and have her back. She was dealing with an injury. She fought back, came off the bench, got into the starting lineup, and she started lighting it up for us.
The hits just keep coming for the Indiana Fever. Not unexpected that Sophie Cunningham is ruled out for the season, but devastating nonetheless as the injuries continue to pile up.
The Indiana Fever. Not unexpected that Sophie Cunningham ruled out for the season, but devastating nonetheless as the injuries just continue to pile up.
Cindy Coulson was already out, Aari McDonald was already out, and now Sophie joins them. Her toughness, shooting, and playmaking will be impossible to replace this late in the year.
Of course, Cindy Coulson already out for the season, Aari McDonald out for the season, and now Sophie Cunningham out for the season. That's with Caitlin Clark still out and having been out for much of the season. The season was saved.
We have lost Sophie Cunningham for the remainder of this WNBA basketball season. She suffered a knee injury versus the Connecticut Sun, and it turned out to be serious. In response, the Fever have signed a 5'7" guard. The news has cast a shadow over the team's playoff hopes, and fans believe Sophie's absence changes everything.
We have lost Sophie Cunningham for the remainder of this WNBA basketball season. We've signed a 5'7" guard. All right, we waived one and signed a different one. It looks like this one's got some actual WNBA experience. I guess the Indiana Fever's crack YouTube staff watching clips.
The Fever just lost Sophie Cunningham, and the fandom is frustrated. This woman they signed is 5'7", 36 years old, and did not play in 2024 at all, while Sophie is 6'1" and only 29.
There's some folks pissed off at the Indiana Fever. And the reason they're pissed off, number one, you got nonsensical moves like this. This woman is 5'7", 36 years old, for crying out loud. Did not play in 2024 at all. 5 points a game with the LA Sparks in 6 games this season. The problem is Sophie is 6'1". She's also 29 years old.
Fans are asking why the team would replace her with someone shorter and older, instead of finding a forward or wing that matches Sophie's size. People are calling this move a joke by the front office.
Because a lot of fans are like, what in the hell are you guys doing? And I understand it. The WNBA surpassed its total regular season attendance record Friday, another showcase of the league's continued growth in 2025.
The Indiana Fever confirmed Sophie Cunningham suffered an MCL tear. The silver lining is that she should be fully recovered by the start of next season, but this injury ends her current campaign.
The Indiana Fever just say knee injury, won't say anything more. And Alexa Philippou can confirm Sophie Cunningham suffered an MCL tear. A silver lining being that she should be fully recovered by the start of next season. And
if it was a full rupture, recovery would take longer. But since it's not an ACL tear, she should return by Christmas at the latest. Still, it leaves the Fever without one of their toughest role players for the rest of the year.
It just depends on if it was a full rupture. If it was a full tear without any damage to her ACLs or PCLs or any other ligament or LCL, she could be back. I reckon she'll be back to some basketball activities by Christmas at the latest. That would be my and that's being conservative a lot of the time. Like, there are times where you can come back after, like, if it's a grade 1 sprain, you're back.
Sophie Cunningham, unfortunately, is out for the rest of the 2025 WNBA season, thanks to the little stunt Bria Hartley pulled. Sophie has a tear in her MCL on her right knee. This leaves the Fever scrambling to adjust their lineup and figure out how to survive the remainder of the season without one of their most important players.
Sophie Cunningham, unfortunately, is out for the rest of the 2025 WNBA season, thanks to the little stunt Bria Hartley pulled. Sophie Cunningham has a tear in her MCL on her right knee, thanks to the little stunt Bria Hartley pulled. Bria Hartley deserves zero benefit of the doubt. As I said in a previous video, her reputation precedes her.
It looked like Sophie Cunningham suffered an MCL tear in her right knee. Sources confirmed the injury, and the Fever had to release Kira Lambert to sign veteran guard Shey Peddy. This was not about Caitlin Clark's status, but directly tied to Sophie's injury, showing how devastating her absence is for the roster construction.
Sophie Cunningham suffered a MCL tear in her right damn knee. League source confirms her injury is affected the Fever decision to release Kira Lambert and sign Shey Peddy, a 6-year league veteran. This move didn't have anything to do with CC's status. It don't look like Caitlin Clark is, making a move to come back.
Who is Shey Peddy? She's a 36-year-old, 5'7" point guard. The Fever brought her in right after Sophie Cunningham's injury. This decision has fans questioning the front office, because instead of adding wing depth, they chose an aging guard, showing just how desperate the situation has become.
Who is Shey Peddy? She's a 36-year-old 5'7" point guard. Yes, she is a 36-year-old 5'7" point guard. Why? What is the point?
Shout out to Shey Peddy. I don't know you, man. 36 years old, 5'7", and we're addicted to point guards for some reason. It makes no sense because everybody's 5'5" and under. Fans are frustrated, asking why the Fever keeps signing smaller guards instead of adding size to replace Sophie Cunningham's role. The move shocked people because of how random and unhelpful it feels.
Man, let me know what y'all think about this Sophie Cunningham update. Shout out to Shey Peddy. I don't know you, man. 36 years old, 5'7". We're addicted to midget point guard for some reason. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's 5'5" and under. It's just like, yo, dog. What are y'all trying to do? Run between basketball players' legs or something? I don't even get what's happening anymore, man.
The other move they made was the signing of Shey Peddy. This was essentially a one-for-one swap with Kira Lambert, but she is another small guard. Fans have complained about that repeatedly, but with the market this late, the Fever are scraping the bottom of the barrel. She brings some veteran presence, but it's hard to see how she actually replaces Sophie Cunningham's impact.
The other move that they made was the signing of Shey Peddy. This is essentially one-for-one swap with Kira Lambert from the way it seems to be understood here. more of a veteran presence, another small guard. I know people are going to complain about that, but she most recently played with the Sparks. They're just signing former Sparks players since McDonald and now Peddy here, averaging 5 points, 2.7 assists on a hardship contract.
In a corresponding move, the Indiana Fever signed guard Shey Peddy to a 7-day hardship contract and released Kira Lambert. I've seen Shey Peddy play, and honestly, it's nothing to be checking for. She isn't a shooter, just another body out there. It feels underwhelming to the fans who were hoping for a strong replacement after Sophie's injury.
Sophie Cunningham will miss the remainder of the season after suffering an injury during our game at Connecticut on Sunday. In a corresponding move, we have signed guard Shey Peddy to a 7-day hardship contract and released Kira Lambert. Listen, let's stick with Sophie Cunningham for a second, man. This is terrible. You don't want to see anybody go out, especially with an injury.
Shey Peddy is 5'7", 36 years old with 122 WNBA games under her belt. Her career high was just 9.9 points a game with Phoenix in 2022. Last season, she averaged barely 5 points, and she didn't even play in 2024. Signing someone this old and this limited shocked fans because it looks more like a desperation move than a plan for success.
Shey Peddy, all right? She is 5'7". She has actually played in 122 WNBA games. 36 years old. All right. 36 years old. The most she's ever averaged with the Suns in 2022. Not the Suns, the Mercury. 9.9 points a game. And I see Phoenix automatically. So anyway, the Mercury, who cares? Who cares?
This is what happens when you let dirty players play dirty. This is what happens when you fail to correct malicious behavior on the court. And a few weeks later, that player is over here taking out somebody's knees. Bria Hartley is somewhere in a dark room, chuckling to herself after what she did. The malicious intent was clear, and now Sophie Cunningham is out for the season.
When you let dirty players play dirty. This is what happened when you fail to correct malicious behavior on the court, and a few weeks later, that player is over here taking out somebody's. Bria Hartley is somewhere in a dark room patting herself on the back. Bria Hartley is somewhere in a dark room chuckling to herself after what she did. The malicious intent, good job, Bria. Now Sophie Cunningham's out for the rest of the season.
Sophie Cunningham was targeted, and this was completely unnecessary. The Connecticut Sun organization needs to be fined and somebody suspended. Yet again, another Indiana Fever player goes down, and the referees didn't even upgrade the foul. Kathy has yet to speak about any of it, leaving fans furious with the league.
This is an unfortunate situation. Sophie Cunningham was targeted, and this was completely unnecessary. The Connecticut Sun, to me, organization need to be fined. Somebody need to be suspended. Something needs to happen. And yet again, we have another week, another Indiana Fever player goes down, and guess what? The referees didn't upgrade it to a flagrant nothing.
Those people who are saying that Hartley did not do this on purpose are tripping. She targeted Sophie Cunningham. She made it her business to purposely get her out of the way. This was very unfortunate and a targeted attack, and the fans are not happy at all. Big prayers up to Sophie Cunningham after being deliberately taken out.
I'm hella mad. This was not right. And those are people who saying that Hartley did not do this on purpose is tripping. She targeted Sophie Cunningham. She made it her business to hate her purposely get her out the way. This is very unfortunate, man. Big prayers up to Sophie Cunningham. I know a lot of people was talking about this.
The Indiana Fever has an obligation to protect players like Sophie and Caitlin from thug players and poor officiating. This is turning off fans as players are assaulting other players, and it affects the bottom line of the league. The officiating has been called out multiple times, but no real changes have been made. Sophie's injury has highlighted this bigger issue.
Stephanie White didn't call out the officiating. We can't act like Aaliyah Boston. Like these players, everybody's been speaking up about it, right? Everybody has been speaking up about the officiating. It's really on the league to protect these players. At the end of the day, all Stephanie White can do is just fix the rotation and fix plays and things of that nature. But protecting them. I don't know how you necessarily do that.
Stephanie White said the hope is that Caitlin Clark will be back before the end of the season. Fans want more clarity because they believe Clark is the only chance to salvage the year. Without her, this season feels lost after so many injuries. The return of Clark is being viewed as the only real path toward making the playoffs.
Stephanie White said that the hope is that she'll be back before the end of the season. But still, as many fans as she has, as many fans as the Fever have, I think a little bit of clarity on the potential of when she could be back, the odds, the chances, the time frame, any of that would be welcome. I mean, seeing her in practice, I guess, would be the answer. And we haven't seen the Fever return to practice yet. I believe they had the day off.
If Caitlin Clark does not return, this team will not make the playoffs. It is as simple as that. Fans are clear that bringing in Shey Peddy isn't enough to change the season. They see Clark's comeback as the deciding factor between a playoff run or an early end. Without her, there is little hope left.
But I'm telling you right here, right now, if Caitlin Clark does not return, this team will not make the playoffs. With this remaining schedule, this team 1000% will not make the playoffs. It is as simple as that. There's no two ways around it. And if you think bringing in Shey Peddy is going to be a major difference, I hate to tell you, it's not. It just is what it is.
Is your team so incompetent that you can't find a shooting forward or guard that matches Sophie's height? Fans are asking why the Fever keep signing short players instead of protecting their stars. Many believe the front office refuses to protect players from being targeted, and frustration has boiled over.
Is your team so incompetent that you can't find a shooting forward or guard that matches Sophie's height? What is this? The team with the shortest guard in the nation. Just tank already, as you can't field a team protect your players from getting targeted by dirty players.
The Indiana Fever announced today that guard Sophie Cunningham will miss the remainder of the season after suffering an injury in the game at Connecticut. In response, they signed Shey Peddy to a 7-day contract.
From the Indiana Fever pipeline moments ago that Sophie Cunningham will miss the remainder of the season, and I am hella mad about this. Sophie Cunningham will miss the remainder of the season after suffering an injury during our game at Connecticut on Sunday. In corresponding move, we have signed guard Shey Peddy to a 7-day hardship contract.
Shey Peddy was born in 1988, and she is 36 years old. For her career, she has averaged 5.9 points, 2.3 assists, and 2.4 rebounds. She is a career 40% field goal shooter and 31% from three.
Now he signed Shey Peddy. Who is Shey Peddy? Shey Peddy, no disrespect to you, man. I just hope you come in and contribute. But I said that back. Shey Peddy was born in 1988. She is 36 years old. For her career, she's averaged 5.9 points, 2.3 assists, 2.4 rebounds. She is a career 40% field goal percent shooter. She is a career 31% from three.
Sophie Cunningham will miss the remainder of the season after suffering an injury in the Connecticut game. In a corresponding move, the Fever signed guard Shey Peddy to a 7-day hardship contract and released Kira Lambert.
Sophie Cunningham will miss the remainder of the season after suffering an injury during our game at Connecticut on Sunday. In a corresponding move, we have signed guard Shey Peddy to a 7-day hardship contract and released Kira Lambert.
I'm starting to think there definitely should be a WNBA lockout. And while that lockout is going on, somehow Kathy Engelberg needs to be removed. Referees need to call fouls and protect players, because right now stars are being targeted.
And I'm starting to think that there definitely should be a WNBA lockout. And while that lockout is going on, somehow, some way, Kathy Engelberg needs to be removed. It needs to be replaced with a new commissioner. The referees need to get on the same page. Listen, this is basketball. Y'all better call these fucking fouls that y'all see.
Stephanie White said the hope is that Caitlin Clark will be back before the end of the season. Fans want more clarity because they believe Clark is the only chance to salvage the year.
Stephanie White said that the hope is that she'll be back before the end of the season. But still, as many fans as she has, as many fans as the Fever have, I think a little bit of clarity on the potential of when she could be back, the odds, the chances, the time frame, any of that would be welcome. I mean, seeing her in practice, I guess, would be the answer. And we haven't seen the Fever return to practice yet. I believe they had the day off.
Even though it was always possible that Sophie's season was over, fans still held out hope. But now that hope has shifted entirely to Caitlin Clark's return, many believe it would be a miracle if she comes back and saves the season.
Watch the actual injury, though. No Sophie. It'd be a miracle for Caitlin to return. Good luck rest of the year. Shit, depressing news. Even though it's always possible and probable that Sophie's season was over, you always held out hope. Yeah, I had some hope, actually.
Sophie Cunningham hurt. Caitlin Clark hurt. This has been a disaster of a season. If Caitlin Clark can lace up her shoes and be at 100%, the Fever have a chance against anybody. If she don't come back, it's over, meaning we won't make the playoffs without her.
If Caitlin Clark can lace up her shoes and be at 100%, the Fever have a chance against anybody.
Sophie Cunningham hurt. This has been a disaster of a fucking season.
Will the GOAT return? Listen, the season is riding on this. Does Caitlin Clark return or not? Does Caitlin come back?
Depressing news. Even though it was possible Sophie's season was over, fans always held out hope. Sophie is 6'1". Why sign shorter point guards? If Caitlin's coming back, what are we even doing? It's absolutely been a season from hell, man. The Fever just can't catch a break.
Shit, depressing news. Even though it's always possible and probable that Sophie's season was over, Sophie is 6'1". Why sign shorter point guards? Why are we signing point guards, period, if Caitlin's coming back? What are we doing?
It's absolutely been a season from hell.
Sophie, dirty play. From a dirty player who's been playing dirty all season, the Fever's future now rests on Caitlin Clark's comeback. Can she save the season? Tell us what you think and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.